Hello, everyone. It's Sam again. It's been about a week since I gave that talk on bioluminescence, and I shared my talk with a scientist, Dr. Michael Latz from Scripps down at San Diego. And I have learned, and so he's been really gracious with me, spending time and answering questions. And I learned that I got something wrong in my talk. And there's a couple other points I want to clarify also. So the thing that I got wrong, and I'm sorry about that, don't believe in being a source of bad info or misinformation. I made a mistake. I'm a volunteer. And yeah, so I'm here to clear it up. The mistake that I made was when I was talking about the scintillons. So in that last video, I said that they are a cell within a cell, an endosymbiont, a plastid that's similar to mitochondria or chloroplasts in plants, and that they share a common ancestor with chlorophyll, chloroplasts. Excuse me. That's wrong. That's basically 100% wrong. Scintillons are not a cell within a cell or an endosymbiont, and they don't have their own DNA at all. Turns out they are vesicles, so basically sacs that just house the bioluminescent chemicals. They don't actually produce them. So both the scintillon is created in the Golgi apparatus and loaded with the bioluminescent chemicals there. And in many dinoflagellates, they're actually broken down at the end of the night and recycled. And most dinoflagellates actually have a circadian rhythm that helps regulate them over time. Where I got confused is that luciferin, the bioluminescent molecule in dinoflagellates, is associated with the pathway that creates chlorophyll. So the enzymes and the genes that regulate those enzymes that create luciferin are related to the pathway that creates chlorophyll. But it's not happening in the scintillon, and the scintillon doesn't have DNA. So that's just a really important thing to me to clear up. Yeah, so I got that wrong. Some other stuff I want to clarify, some of which I cut out in the interest of time, but I feel like it's worth clearing up, is that in that 2019 study that shows that our noctilucas are not bioluminescent along the west coast of the United States, lower 48, down in California, down in Scripps area, San Diego area, they did a lot of testing to check that out and find it, and found no bioluminescent noctilucas down there. But up here in Washington, they were only able to do a little bit of testing, only a little bit of searching and testing. And so they're not confident that none of our noctilucas bioluminesce. They know some of them don't, but they don't know that all of them don't, essentially. And there is one report of bioluminescent noctiluca scintillans from Washington State. So that is still something that basically needs to be determined, that none of them can glow here. I just want to clear up to how I talked about the relationship between biofluorescence and bioluminescence with our local plankton, with our dinoflagellates. The luciferin, the bioluminescent molecule in our dinoflagellates, it is biofluorescent if you shine a UV light on it, which almost never happens in nature. And so it's not actively being biofluorescent at the moment of bioluminescence when we see it out in the wild. But if you were to shine a UV light on it, you can get a fluorescent, response reaction. But just want to clear that up. Something else to clear up is that I was asked a question about bioluminescent nudibranchs, and I was right when I said we don't have any around here, but there are a few species in at least a couple of different genuses or genera of nudibranchs that bioluminesce. Um, and they can actually do it, they can actually produce the molecules to create the bioluminescence inside of their bodies instead of having to repurpose it from things that they eat. So they can make the molecules endogenously or inside of themselves. The ones that I found appear to be primarily in the tropics in both the Pacific and the Atlantic and the Mediterranean. And I was reading about another set down in, I guess, the South Pacific, near Australia and the islands over there. So there are bioluminescent nudibranchs, but they're not here in the Salish Sea. All right. Thanks for listening, and have a good time finding yourself some bioluminescence this summer.